Hey guys, today we're going to start looking at percent proportion. We're going to answer the question, what is a percent proportion and how can it be used to find a percent? So a percent proportion is a proportion where the ratio compares part of a quantity to the whole quantity, and then the other ratio is equivalent to the percent. So you'll set it up like this: part over whole equals the percent out of 100, because the percent is the part and 100 is the whole. So to find a percent of something, we're going to follow these steps. We want to read the problem and identify the part and the whole, and then we will set up our percent proportion like this, and then we will solve the proportion for the percent. So let's look at one. It says 22 is what percent of 110? So 22 is the part and 110 is the whole. So my part over whole ratio would be 22 over 110. And then I'll set it equal to, I don't know what percent it is, out of 100. Okay, now I'm going to simplify. 22 and 110 are both divisible by 2. So I can change this proportion to 11 over 55 equals x out of 100. And now I'm going to cross multiply. 11 times 100 is 1100. And then 55 times x is 55x. And then I would divide by 55 to figure out x. So I need to do 1100 divided by 55. And it is 20. So 20% is, what percent 22 out of 110 is? Okay, let's look at this next one. It says, what percent is 15? Of 15 is 9. What percent of 15 is 9? So 15 is the whole and 9 is the part. So I would set this fraction up as 9 out of 15 equals x out of 100, because I'm trying to find the percent out of 100. So 9 out of 15, both of those numbers are divisible by 3. So I'm going to simplify this a little bit. And I get 3 out of 5 equals x out of 100. And now I'm going to cross multiply to solve. 3 times 100 is 300. And 5 times x is 5x. So I'm going to divide by 5. 30 divided by 5 is 6, so 300 divided by 5 is 60. So that means that the percent that 9 is out of 15 is 60%. Okay, let's look at number 3. It says, what percent of 25 is 20? So 25 is the whole and 20 is the part. So I'm trying to figure out what percent of 25 is 20. So I'm going to do 20 over 25 equals, I don't know what the percent is out of 100. Now I'm going to simplify these fractions. 20 and 25 are both divisible by 5. So I get 4 out of 5 equals x out of 100. And now I'm going to cross multiply. 4 times 100 is 400. And 5 times x is 5x. And now I'm going to divide by 5. 40 divided by 5 is 8, so 400 divided by 5 is 80. So 80% is what 20 out of 25 is. Okay, number 4, it says 41.4 is what percent of 92? So 41.4 is the part and 92 is the whole. So now I'm going to set it up as part over whole. 41.4 over 92 equals, I don't know what percent out of 100. So now let's cross multiply here. 41.4 times 100, I just move the decimal places to the right twice, and I get 4,140 equals 92 times x. So now to get x by itself, I would divide by 92. So I need to do 4,140 divided by 92. So 4,140 divided by 92 was 45. So that means that 41.4 is 45% of 92. Okay, let's look at this next one. It says $12.75 is what percent of $50? So the part is $12.75, the whole is $50. So now I'm going to set up my percent proportion. Part over whole is 12.75 all over 50 equals x out of 100. And now I'm going to cross multiply to solve. 1275 times 100 is 1,275 equals 50x. So now I would divide 1,275 by 50 to find the percent. So 25.5% is equivalent to 1275 out of 50. Okay, let's look at number 6. $3 is what percent of 40? So I have my part and my whole. So I'm going to set up my percent proportion. Part over whole equals the percent out of 100. So now I cross multiply to solve. 3 times 100 is 300 equals 40 times x, which is 40x. Okay, now I'm going to divide 300 by 40 to determine what the percent is. And I get 7.5. So 7.5% is equivalent to $3 out of $40. All right, let's look at 7. On Friday, Ariel received a $450 paycheck. On Saturday, she spent $30 on gasoline and $15 on lunch. What percent of her paycheck did Ariel spend on Saturday? So the first thing I need to figure out is how much money she spent on Saturday. So on Saturday, she spent $30 on gas and $15 on lunch. So she spent $45 in total. So it says, what percent of her paycheck did she spend on Saturday? Here's the part that she spent on Saturday out of her whole $450 paycheck. So the first part of my proportion, the part over whole, will be 45 out of 450. And then I'm going to set that equal to, I don't know what the percent is, out of 100. And now we're going to solve this. The first thing I can do is simplify 45 out of 450. Both of these numbers are divisible by 45. So then I get 1 out of 10 equals x out of 100. And now I'm going to cross multiply to solve this proportion. 1 times 100 is 100. And 10 times x is 10x. And then I would divide by 10, and 100 divided by 10 is 10. So she spent 10% of her paycheck on Saturday. And number 8, it says there are 100 cookies and 80 cupcakes on a dessert table at a restaurant. Of these desserts, 12 cookies and 24 cupcakes contain nuts. What percentage of these desserts contain nuts? So notice we're talking about the desserts, and they didn't tell me a total amount of desserts. They told me there are 100 cookies and 80 cupcakes. So that means that the whole is 100 plus 80. Since we're not just talking about cookies or cupcakes, we're talking about them both. So the whole is 180. And then the part, we're talking about the part that contains nuts, which is 12 cookies and 24 cupcakes. So 12 plus 24 is 36. So now we have our part and our whole, so I can set up my percent proportion. My part was 36 containing nuts out of 180 total desserts, and then I'll set it equal to x out of 100. 36 and 180 are both divisible by 6. 36 divided by 6 is 6. And 180 divided by 6 is 30. Equals x out of 100. Okay, I can simplify this fraction a little bit further. These are both divisible by 6 again. 6 divided by 6 and 30 divided by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. And 30 divided by 6 is 5. Equals x out of 100. And now it's really easy to solve this proportion. 1 times 100 is 100. 5 times x is 5x. So I just divide by 5. And I get that 20% is the amount of desserts that contain nuts.